Okay, and I'm going to write it down over there too if anyone can't see. And identify each word in this sentence by its part of speech. Okay? Okay, first, the order. What is it? Okay, so that's verbs, pronouns, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, and conjunctions. Okay, so first for verbs, what's the test for that? I, it, we, blank. I, it, we, blank. And what do we have? Is. It's a verb. It is. It is. Okay, what else? I guess fridging could be. I didn't see it, but someone told me that the movie Deadpool turned that into a verb. So is. There we go. That's it. So then with pronouns and nouns, first start with the one that's doing the verb is. We have pizza right there, so that's a noun. What else? What are the nouns and pronouns? Apple and fridge. Okay, great. So then, any other things? All right, so then adjectives. Start at the back, and what do you say? Yeah, what kind of apple? An apple. Adjective. What kind of apple? What kind of fridge? The fridge. What kind of fridge? What kind of pizza? Cold. What kind of pizza? Okay, great. So then adverbs. How did the verb is do its job? We don't have anything. Really is, truly is, no. For adjectives, only an apple. Really cold, no, there's nothing like that. No adverbs. Okay, on to prepositions, things that say what the position of the pen and the desk is. The pencil is or goes blank the desk. We have pencil goes in the desk. Great. Okay, what else? With. Okay, so there are your answers. That's it for today. No conjunctions. Voila, you did it. The next step in the pyramid, so at the bottom we have parts of speech, and then the next step is subject, verb, identification. So, yeah, we're learning parts of speech so that we can identify the subject and predicate, so that we can identify clauses, so that we can combine clauses correctly, so that we can write without run-ons and fragments, right? That was at the top of the pyramid. We already know how to do it. Congratulations. Today's lesson is already done, right? Because every time we've had a verb and we move on to pronouns and nouns, I would say, okay, so there's our verb. Who or what is doing that verb? And then you answer and you say pizza, or whatever it is. Well, pizza is the subject of this sentence. Okay? That's it. So the noun or pronoun that's doing the verb of the sentence is the subject. Okay. You're free to go. Oh. Of course, it can be more complex than that because sometimes it's not very clear who or what is doing the verb. So when you're finding the subject and verb, step one, find the verb or verbs. Step two, find the noun or pronoun doing that verb. Okay, but then if it's confusing, if it doesn't quite make sense, you can, I should probably make a flow chart instead of a numbered list here, but kind of your optional step 3 is to remove prepositional phrases. So in this sentence, well, you don't know what prepositional phrases are yet, though. So you know what prepositions are. All you have to do to identify prepositional phrases is take those and then after them say what. So that's just your prepositional phrase is a preposition plus what? So with what? With an apple. So that means this whole thing is a prepositional phrase. And in what? In the fridge. So that's a prepositional phrase. You can get rid of them. And if you've done it correctly, what you have left will still have a verb and a subject, and it will be a complete sentence. It might be a sentence as simple as it is, but that's still a sentence. So if I said, it is a cold day in November with lots of rain and newly dead trees, and you could go on and on and on, but at the end you could get rid of all those prepositional phrases and you'd just be left with this, and that's fine. Okay, so then once you have your reduced sentence, a cold pizza is, then it's easier to identify the verb that you're looking at, the verb that's important for identifying the subject, and then the noun that's doing it is also simple. Yes?
So is that a sentence? A cold pizza is?
Yeah. What is cold? A cold pizza is. Period. Right? That's a sentence. It doesn't need to be a perfect, beautiful sentence. It just needs to be grammatically correct. It could also be like, we be, period. You know, I think I mentioned that briefly last time, how the word be, it's a verb, but it doesn't really work as well with that I, it, we thing to our modern ears. We be, period. But that's actually grammatically correct. We don't use it that way anymore, but like that sentence, there be dragons here, period. That's grammatically correct. It's not just pirate slang. We just don't use it that way anymore. Okay, going to get food is my least favorite thing to do after school. Let's find the subject of this sentence. So it's kind of confusing because we have more than one verb. What are our verbs here? Okay, is a verb. It is, it is. Okay, what else? Do, I do, I do. Okay, what else? I get, yeah, that's a verb. Okay. Anything else? I'm glad no one said going. Good. You've got it down. All right. So we found our verbs, and then you're finding the thing that's doing each one of these. It's confusing. So you're just going to go right to step 3 and try and simplify this sentence. So you find your parts of speech, or excuse me, your prepositions, and what are they here? After. Preposition. What else? To is a preposition. What else? The other two. Okay, great. So let's get rid of our prepositional phrases. After what?
School.
After school. So that's a prepositional phrase. Let's get rid of it. To what? To do. Okay. Now, with this one, it's not quite the same thing as the pencil and the desk. When you have to and then a verb, it's called an infinitive phrase. You don't need to remember that. But it functions the same for our purposes with this, as does a prepositional phrase. So, to get to the moon. to eat a sandwich. Those things you could remove from the sentence just the same as you could with in a box, on the desk, that sort of thing. Okay, so to what? To get food. Get rid of it. Okay, so what's left, if we've done it correctly, should still be a sentence. Going is my least favorite thing. Yep, that's it. So now you say, is the verb that we're looking at for this clause, and who or what is doing the verb is? Going. Okay? So this was a verb, but then you have ing on the end. It's a gerund. And we talked about when you have a verb plus ing, it's no longer a verb. Now it's a noun. So the action of going is a noun that's doing is. And what is it? It's my least favorite thing. But this is the subject. Okay? Let's find the subject here. Step 1, find the verbs. What's the verb? Yeah. Exactly. When you have an apostrophe, for grammatical purposes, this is not its own word. This is it, break it apart. It is such a rainy day. So once that's out of the way, what's your verb? Is. And then who or what is such a rainy day? The pronoun it. So that's our subject. Okay? Verbs. What can I, it, we, were? Okay, great. All right. Now, it's still kind of confusing with all this stuff in here, so let's break it down. Let's remove our prepositional phrases. So first, what prepositions do we have? There is not a preposition. The pencil goes there, the desk. The pencil is there, the desk. Doesn't work. Of is one, yes. What else? At, yes. To, yes. On, good. Okay, I think that's it. So at what? At the airport. Okay, great. Of what? Of wonderful people. Great. All right, to what? To France. On what? On my trip. Great. So now my sentence is, there were a lot.
That can't be a sentence.
No, that works. There were a lot.
How many were there?
Right. I think it's, yeah.
I'm not comprehending.
They got you. They pounced. All right. Still, though, we're not sure what the subject is. So remember, only pronouns and nouns can be subjects. So who or what is doing the word were? Okay. So the answer is lot. Lot is a noun here. This is to show you that when you've got the word there are some situations where the subject can come after the verb. There'll usually be ones like this. There were this. There is this. Okay. What is the word there? What part of speech? It's called a proximal deictic locative. It's a linguistic term. You don't have to memorize that. It's technically an adverb, but the point is that sometimes the subject can come after the verb. So if I say, there's a beautiful bird on that tree, bird is the subject, not there. Okay? Let's do one more.
So we do all this to find the subject? Is that what the goal of this is?
Uh-huh. So everybody look at that, figure it out, and then I'll call on one of you to tell me what the subject is. So first find the verb or verbs, find the noun or pronouns, including the one that's doing that verb, or especially the one that's doing that verb. And then if it seems confusing, remove prepositional phrases and tell me what the subject is. While you're thinking about that, me emphasize that when we use the word subject in other contexts, it means what's it about. You know, if you're writing a paper and your mom says, what's the subject of your paper? You say, oh, it's about cell phones. That has nothing to do with this kind of subject. This subject is, no matter what is the most important idea or word or concept in the sentence, the subject of the sentence is simply the noun or pronoun that's doing the verb. That's it. And really, we're not even talking about sentences here. We're talking about clauses, but more on that later. Okay, find the subject.
I found the verb.
What's the verb?
Can.
Can. And be is also a verb.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Say more.
Yeah, sure.
To is a preposition,
Sure is.
so we just cross out to some people.
Okay.
Is without verb.
Let's try it. Oh, is it a verb?
Yeah.
Well, let's try it. I without, it without, it without. We without, no, doesn't really work. What did you do today? We without it for, no.
Preposition. It sounds like it could be.
Is it a preposition? Well, let's try that out. The pencil is without the desk. Mhm. Or the pencil goes without the desk. Yeah, that's fine, isn't it? So then, let's get rid of that one too, right, Tyler?
Yes.
So, without what?
A leash.
Without a leash. So now your sentence is, a dog can be very frightening. So can be, who or what is doing the action of can?
The dog.
Dog. And for these on tests, I will ask you to just look, if I'm asking you to identify subject and verb, I'll say, in case of multiple verb phrases, select only the first verb in the phrase. So you'll just choose can, and then who or what's doing it, this noun, dog, so that's the subject.